Is it math? Well, yeah, basically it is. Okay. Now, luck, there's a formula for luck, okay, and it involves attention and intention, okay? Whatever you focus on intensifies. It doesn't matter what it is, okay? So people go from good to bad, right? And we talk about the spectrum all the time. The windshield wiper, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, because we're humans. Now, the mathematical equation to luck is very simple. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. I do it all the time. Okay, and I'll show you. I'll show you one of my books that I finished. This one here. See, so this is done. Okay, these are affirmations. Okay, these are part of the mathematical equation to luck. Okay, and how does it work? How does it work specifically? Well, first of all, you have to apply your attention. Okay, what is that? Well, attention is your currency. It's your vibrational currency. Attention, whenever you pay attention, okay, that's why it's called currency, because you pay attention, you give attention, you place your attention on something or someone, okay? Now, when you do that, that's your currency, okay? Whatever you focus on intensifies. So, whatever you place your attention on will begin to grow, will begin to intensify. Okay, so your attention is your currency, and wherever you spend it, you're investing energy. Everything is energy. When you start looking at everything as energy and start realizing the energetic value of everything, the world starts to change. You start to get things very easily. Okay, and we talked about this when we talked about wealth. There's two ways to be wealthy. Okay, number one, you could be the squirrel and you can save every single penny. You can deny yourself a full life and just store all your nuts in the bank, right? All your money in the bank, okay? And you can get by on hardly anything. I have a friend that does that, and he's pretty wealthy, okay? But he has denied himself of a rich, full life that he could have had, but he's saving for one day, right? Yeah, he's saving for one day in the future. Okay. But anyway, so wealth comes one of two ways. That's one way. You could put everything in the bank, you could put everything in the stock market, you can invest everything, and you can live like a pauper. Or the other way towards wealth is when you master your energy, things come when you need it. You bring it in when you need it. It arrives when you need it. And what's necessary for that? Well, the mathematical equation to luck is one of those things. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. But what's the mathematical equation? Okay, well, attention, okay, number one. Number two, intention, okay? What you mean by what you do. Remember yesterday, I was telling you guys, all you need to do is know what and why, okay? So what do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? You can call it manifestation. You can call it goal setting. You can call it achieving goals. What do you want to achieve? I thought I had to be lucky in life. I thought, oh, I have to be lucky and meet the right person to open the right doors. No. It looked like I got lucky, right? It looked like that. It looked like one day the doors just opened and there I was, and the rest is history. But there was a lot of mental conditioning behind that. What kind of mental conditioning? Attention and intention. When you have a purpose, when you're focused on something intently, okay, intention, you start to draw it to you. How does it work? Subconscious, superconscious. Think of the subconscious as holding the topic or the what. Okay? You tell your subconscious what? You tell your subconscious what you want to do, what you want to achieve. The superconscious goes, oh, that's the target? Okay. Now the superconscious begins to assist, and you get intuitive thought. But you get intuitive thought about the target. It begins to unfold. And as it begins to unfold, it's almost like you get clues. Another clue, another clue. Oh, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should start this side hustle. Maybe I should do that. Oh, maybe I should involve some marketing. Maybe I should, I should. And you choose. But when you get intuitive thought, it is very important that you act on it. So often people dismiss that, right? So they get the right thoughts, right? And they go, nah, that's okay. Nah, never mind. I'm busy doing this. I'm busy enjoying the sunset. I'm busy enjoying the beach right now. I'll do that later. And guess what happens? They miss the boat, so to speak, right? Good morning, Mr. Ed. They missed the boat. Why? Because they had intuitive thought. They had the answer. They dismissed it. They pushed it on the side. When you order something from your subconscious, or when you tell your subconscious what it is you want to achieve, your subconscious will take it as an order. It will take it as a command. Your subconscious is your genie. It doesn't judge. It has no judgment. It does not know fact from fiction. It just knows what you tell it to do. And you can give it an order. And that order could be, I want a new house. When you install this belief in your subconscious, the superconscious begins to feed it. The superconscious begins to work with it. And if you want to say the universe starts to conspire on your behalf, if you want to say that God starts to conspire on your behalf, if you want to say that higher intelligence is conspiring on your behalf, that's exactly what happens. So, first of all, your intention. Second of all, intention. And it's important to know why. It's important to know why. Attention sets the stage. Intention sets the direction. Now that you have the intention or the intent, it will set the direction. Where do you want this to go? It's the fuel behind your actions. Your actions are being driven through your intent. How many times have you heard an apology from somebody and they go, oh, that's not what I intended. I'm sorry, that's not how I intended it. So intention is very important. Okay? Intention is deeper than goal setting. Okay? It's the conscious decision to align your thoughts, words, actions, feelings, and beliefs with your desired outcome. It works for every single thing. I've used it since 2007 for everything. Now, this don't be, don't be too excited over this news because it takes practice. Okay, your subconscious is like a muscle. It needs to be exercised. And you need to get it going. And you need to be faithful to the process. Not for anyone else, but for you. You need to be faithful to the process. So many people in this instant gratification world that we live in right now are just too busy for the process. They don't want to do the process. And then they wonder why they're lost. They wonder why they're in the boat that doesn't have a rudder and they keep going like this in life instead of like this towards their target. So when you take action on something with intent, it starts to materialize slowly. Now don't misunderstand me now. Let's say that money was the topic, okay? It's not that money's going to fill your bank up and you're going to have $1 million in the bank. No, no, no. It could be that when you need something, it shows up. I'll give you an example. There are cats at the park where I work at, and these cats eat every morning. God feeds these cats every morning, but he does it through these two older ladies. And these two older ladies bring canned food to the cats in the park. They're stray cats, tons of them, like 20 cats. And they eat canned food every morning. How is that possible? Even the cats eat. So when you work your energy correctly, you always receive. Whether you call it God, whether you want to call it universe, whether you want to call it higher self, whatever label you want to put on that. But you will be taken care of if you cultivate your energy in such a way that it begins to flow. It's not about self-control. It's not about control in this sense. It's about allowing. It's about allowing, and it happens naturally. You don't control yourself. You don't control somebody else. You know, people always say, right? They say, well, you control yourself. You don't control anybody else. No, you don't control yourself in the control sense. You allow. It's already in here. Your blessings are already in here. Your goodness is already in here. You need to allow it out. Allow. Your life path unfolds, but it unfolds from within. It doesn't unfold from out here. There is no out there. There is only in here. You are a projector, projecting your life forward. Think of being in a car. You know how you have the headlights on and there's no street lights, and you can only see a couple of 100 feet in front of your car, and you're traveling at 50 miles an hour, but you have the faith that you could just keep going. And you just keep going. And you can only see 200 feet ahead. What does that take? That takes faith. Now, I'm not talking about church. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about in here. I'm talking about your energy. I'm talking about your natural gifts. I'm talking about your energy. Everything is energy. So you don't control yourself in the control sense. You allow. Okay. Confidence is the absence of the negative emotions. All the negative emotions are rooted in fear. Confidence is the ability to clear all of it so that everything unfolds naturally. Because when your life is unfolding naturally, all the goodness that belongs to you happens. All of it. So when your intention is aligned with your vision, okay, vision is important. Without vision, the people perish. You've heard that before. Again, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, vision. You have to know where you want to go. Many people don't know where they want to go. They start out going here, that doesn't work, and they go, oh, they give up. And then they go again in another direction, that doesn't work, and they give up. The secret to all of this is to keep going. If you hit a dead end here, pivot, go over there, keep taking baby steps. Sometimes the door closes here because you're not supposed to go there. It's not meant for you. It's not something you should have. So now, go this way, right? Sometimes the closed door is to prevent you from harm. It's not to steal your dreams. It's not to collapse your hopes and ambitions. No. Sometimes when this door doesn't open, it's a good thing. Okay? So pivot. Go this way now. Sometimes when doors close, it provides an avenue to take you in the right direction. But you have to be relaxed in here. You have to be calm in here. So all the negative emotions, okay, all those negative emotions have to subside. How do you do that? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. So the equation is attention plus intention equals coincidence. Coincidence, right? Wow, I was focused on this person. I was thinking about Amy. I was thinking about Amy, thinking about Amy, thinking about it. And then guess what? I ran into her in the mall. Coincidence? I was focused on that $20 I needed to make the last part of my rent, and guess what? I got $20 for my birthday. Coincidence? If you believe in God, or let's say it another way, if you believe in a higher power, or if you believe in higher intelligence, or an energy greater than yourself, let's say all those things, then you can't possibly be living a random life. Faith is believing in the unseen. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not yours. So you have to act as if you have it. Why? Because it draws it to you. Your subconscious will provide you confirmation on whatever it is you tell it to do. Your reticular activating system in your brainstem will filter out the things you're not focused on. And then what happens? Well, it will show you the things you are focused on. And then you can make a choice. If you have a hard time making choices, just ask. Ask and ye shall receive. It's that easy. Ask. Ask yourself. Speak it out loud. What should I do about this problem, or this perceived problem, or this issue, or this circumstance? What should I do about this? Your subconscious is obligated to answer you. Okay, so you will get answers. The answer that comes the most often is the answer. Every human being on earth is psychic. Every human being on earth is intuitive. The conscious, subconscious, and superconscious live in here, all together. There is no out there. The only thing out there is nature and other things from other people's in here. That's all that's out there. Everything else is in here. The kingdom is within. It's in all the holy books. It's not just in the Bible. The kingdom is within, because everything unfolds from the inside if you allow. You have to allow. When you are controlling yourself, okay, the allowing is like this. It's like this. It's like that. Okay. So don't control. You have to allow things out. Allow it. We use people's voices to push through all of that emotional junk. The eyes are the mirrors of the soul. The voice is the mirror of the feelings and emotions. If you know how to read a pair of eyes, if you know how to listen to a voice, you can tell a lot about a person. Okay? Eyes are the mirrors of the soul. Voice is the mirror of the feelings and emotions. Coincidences are the universe's way of saying you're in the right place, doing the right thing, thinking the right thoughts at the right time. Coincidence. Or you can say it another way, it's alignment. It's intentional alignment because you've aligned it. What did I align? The conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. When they work in alignment, everything turns out. But we get distracted. Is it okay to get distracted? Sure, of course. I get distracted. I have ADHD. I get distracted all the time. My brain skips tracks. It jumps tracks. But I have used it as a superpower. So when I go online, I put my name online. Like I see things that everything that I fantasized about when I was 12 years old, it's all online. And I'm like, whoa, like that's spooky, you know? Pages and pages and pages of things. Because the H in ADHD is hyper, right? I work with kids with ADHD. I turn their whole perspective around because they see it and they've been told that it's a curse when it's a blessing. It's a superpower. You know? The first thing I ask the kids, right, is like, do you hyper focus? And they look at me and go, no, Uncle, what's that? I'm like, when you focus on something and you can focus for 2 hours and then you look at the time and you go, wow, I didn't know 2 hours went by because you were hyper focused, but you got an incredible amount of work done, an incredible volume of work. And they go, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I know, yeah, I do that. And I tell them, you see, it's a superpower. It's not a disability. So if you have a child with ADHD, don't make them feel bad. Empower them. Teach them. This is a strength. This is a superpower. There's no such thing as normal anything. Everyone has their gifts. When you empower somebody, you know, when you give them praise, when you give them the positive things about them. You know, I always say, right, if you take the 50 percentile, this is positive, this is negative. If you focus on this side only, ignore what's going wrong. Just focus on what's going right, and it starts to grow like that. Point out the good things people do, and it gets better. Oh, and is it a coincidence that that's where your focus is? So you see it as getting better as well? So with my clients, I always ask them, and sometimes I put it in this way. I go, am I seeing things or is this getting better? Am I hearing things or is this getting better? You know? And they'll say, oh yeah, it's getting better. I said, well, I just want a reality check because I'm focusing on this. And what you focus on intensifies. And when you're focused on the positive side of anything, a person, a thing, a system, anything, it intensifies. So sometimes I don't know if I'm actually seeing it for me or seeing it in them. So I confirm it. But there's another reason. When you confirm something positive with someone, it goes into their subconscious and it reinforces the action. Now, that action becomes a program eventually. With repetition, it becomes a program. And the program generally turns into I can versus I cannot. And you remember yesterday we talked about what you put next to the word I. What you put next to the word I is very important. Okay, because it can either build you up or tear you down. And if it tears you down, it's going to tear you down slowly. You're not going to even notice it. It's going to creep up on you, but it will tear you down. It starts with self-esteem first. When your self-esteem lowers, your decision or the quality of your decisions lower. When you feel bad about this one, your decisions lower, your choices are bad, or let's say, not as good. It affects all of that. Self-esteem is very important, not in the ego sense. But it makes a huge difference when you make a decision. When you make a decision, when you take action on something, you always get a result. So when you start making better decisions, you get better results. If you make a decision when you're rushing, or let's say it another way, when you rush to judgment and just make a decision based on, I gotta make a decision like that, chances are it's a bad decision. So take your time. When you're rushing, you're not being grateful. You're not being grateful for this life that you were given when you're rushing. When you're not rushing, when you're taking your time, when you're coming from calm, when you're coming from peace, when you're coming from love, when you're coming from abundance, you're coming from your natural default energy, and you're being grateful because you're not taking yourself for granted. Don't take yourself for granted. Appreciate who you are. Appreciate who you've become. Appreciate the life you've been given. Some people say, oh, it's struggle, it's a struggle, it's just a struggle. The struggle is real. The struggle is here. The struggle is here. The struggle is always here. Why? Because most of the struggle is artificial. Most of the struggle is perception. The only thing standing between you and what you are is a thought or a feeling. It's very simple. So, what are you thinking? How are you feeling? A bad feeling is just a bad thought. Yesterday we were talking about meditation and how you observe thoughts without attaching to them. How you visualize it as a cloud and it just kind of floating by. You don't attach to the thought. You don't become the thought. You don't take action on the thought. You observe the thought and allow it to pass. If it's not the thought to engage with. Because when you engage, you join. Then another one comes and you observe that one and then it goes. How do you achieve this? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. The number one way to affect your subconscious is visuals. Okay, visuals. Make a vision board like this. Okay, this just reminds me of Mark 11:24, ask, believe, receive. That's what this reminds me of. I have it set to this one now. Sometimes it's my company's. Sometimes it's something I want. Sometimes it's my gratitude board, the things that I already have that I'm grateful for, or things that I want in the future. The future is a point of reference. There is only now. There is only one long now. When this now is over, it's over for us as individuals, but there is only one now. Time is a human construct. So, again, how are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's influencing the thoughts? If there's too much negativity around you, or if there's too much drama, so to speak, around you, then you need to change your environment. That could mean going for a walk. That could mean going to the beach or the mountains or wherever it is that you like. To literally change your environment in the moment. You don't have to. You don't have to move to another town. Go to your happy place. Regroup, reframe, redo, rethink, restructure. All of these things are easily done. This is not hard to do. You get what you want when you focus in this way. Ask, believe, receive, or attention with intention. Okay, all you have to do is marry intention with emotion. So you have to be happy when you ask. When you ask God for something, when you ask higher self for something, when you ask Jesus Christ for something, when you ask whoever it is you believe in. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. But when you ask, you need to be in a good mood so you can receive. Because when you're in a bad mood, that's like a negative force field like this, and your blessings are trying to come to you. And it's like this. Because this represents overthinking. This represents resistance. This represents when you're like this, when you're closed and you're not open. Okay, because when you're open, your blessings can come. So you need to be open, not like this. The more open you are, the more you allow out, the more everything unfolds out here for you, on your behalf, from the superconscious. And your subconscious will make it a habit. So guess what? Now you start getting good stuff all the time. Why? Because your subconscious learns in repetition. Let's take a look at the tree, okay? So the roots are the subconscious beliefs, your core beliefs. Your paradigm is the trunk of the tree. Your actions are the fruits of the tree up here. So if you change your core beliefs, if you install new beliefs in your subconscious, it will change the way you see the world, which is your paradigm. In turn, your actions will change based upon how you see the world and what you believe. Then guess what changes? Your results change. What does that mean for you? Maybe it means money. Maybe it means love. Maybe it means something material. It all depends. Everybody wants something different. If everyone wanted the same thing, it would be all used up, whatever it is. Not everybody wants the same thing. Not everybody's definition of success is the same. A friend of mine used to own all the Jack in the Boxes and Jamba Juices in Hawaii. And I sat next to him on his laptop one day, and he was showing me what they made in real time. It was phenomenal. And I looked at him, I said, what does success feel like at that level? And he looked at me like I said something awkward, and he goes, dude, I just go to work. I have never, ever gone to work and sat in my chair here and gone, well, I'm successful. Never. Success is relative. Some people's version of success is a log cabin in the mountains where nobody bothers them. The Russian writer Leon Trotsky said, success is living your life in your own way, and you have a way. And your way is just as good as anyone else's way. So never be intimidated by what you see. Never be intimidated by others. My mom had a good perspective on that. She said, never be envious of others because you don't know what they have to do to go through it, to get it. You don't know what they had to go through. You don't know whatever it is that they had to do to receive what they had to receive. And there is always a sacrifice. There's always a sacrifice. Sometimes you're sacrificing money to get something. You go to the store, you pay money, you receive the goods. Okay, there's always an exchange. There's always you have to give. So make giving a practice. Make generosity a practice. Some people, some of my clients have told me before, well, I don't have that much money. I can't give too much. I said, why don't you give something more valuable than your money? Why don't you give your time? Your time is your life. I give an hour here every morning. I guess I could be doing something else. I could be sleeping. I could be whatever. But it's more important to me that people experience what I did with the ease that I did. And all I had to do was change my thoughts. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. That's it. Attention plus intention plus emotion equals coincidence. Coincidence. This just happened, right? Oh, God brought this today. God did this. Is God real? Oh, yeah, God is real. God is very real. Whatever label you want to put on that. You want to say God, you want to say higher self, Jesus Christ, the formless, infinite intelligence, however you want to label that. Different people see it differently. Different people believe differently. I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but I'm here to tell you that when you believe in this one, you're believing in that power. You're believing in that strength, in that energy, because it lives in you, because it's here. It works. Out of all the vibrations, the highest over here is love. The lowest over here is fear. The negative vibrations are all rooted in fear. Okay, so we have the negative vibrations in humans. I have this. No, I'll pull it up because I had to put it in. I had to put it in my notes, and I don't have it on this page. Okay, but the highest vibration is love. The lowest is fear. The highest minimal good vibration is satisfaction. Okay, satisfaction. So when you're satisfied, that's the beginning of the good emotions. And you work your way up to happiness, joy, right? All the way up to love. You were born in love. You were born to love. Life happens. We're all here to learn. We're all here to learn lessons. We're all here to go through what we need to go through, to learn what we need to learn, to accomplish this physical life. Whatever you call what's in here, if you want to call this an energy, you want to call this soul, spirit, whatever you want to call that. That's who you are. You're not your body. You're not your name. Not at all. Your body carries you around. These things pick things up, feed you, does those things. If you take care of this one, you'll go farther because this will last longer. Your physical existence will last longer. If you're not as careful with this one, maybe not as long. Or maybe long but not as well. That wouldn't be good, would it? But you're that energy that lives in here. This is you in here. When you realize that, and when you realize that we congregate with each other in this lifetime as spiritual beings, the same as we did in the previous lifetime, it starts taking on a whole new meaning. A lot of this is esoteric knowledge. Esoteric is hidden knowledge, or occult knowledge. Occult just means hidden. But when you start to understand that you can bring anything into your world, and when you resist, okay, resist can also come in the form of working too hard. Push, 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 work, work, work. 2 jobs, 3 jobs, always working, work, work, come home exhausted, rest. And then push again the next day, push, 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 push. Now you have this resistance and your blessings are trying to come, but it's like this, it's like that. So it's more important to allow than control. Controlling is not good at all. Controlling yourself is not good. That means you're doing this to yourself. You're controlling, you're doing that. Denial of self is not good. So what do you need to do? You need to allow. You need to be. You need to be. You need to allow. When you are in the state of allow. Hi Nell, good morning. Aloha. When you are in the state of allow, everything happens naturally. When you are in the state of allow, you are in the state of love. When you're pushing, you're not being grateful. When you're rushing, you're not being grateful. But when you're allowing the inside out. You're allowing the blessings to come. You're allowing what is meant for you to materialize. For many years, I thought I had to work hard. I thought I had to be Superman. I thought I had to do all these things. Good morning, David. Aloha. Good morning. I had to do all these things, right? And then when I discovered in 2007, I discovered flow state. And then things began to flow. And I was doing 4 occupations at the same time, 4 different things at the same time, 4 different companies at the same time. And it was really just an administrative role. It wasn't like a big deal for me. But on the weekends, I did my entertainment career on the weekends. During the week, I did other things. I did radio during the week. I did my consulting during the week. I did my teaching during the week. I've been teaching for 36 years. So now I do it live, right here, for you, for free. When you give your time, you give your life. When you give your life, you receive blessings. Okay? Your time is your most important commodity. We're all going to be dead soon. Okay? In 100 years from now, we'll all be dead. There's going to be a totally new crew, totally new world, everything. Everything is progressive. But the contribution you make now is to humanity. The contribution you make now is to your family, for future generations. The contributions you make now set the example for the younger ones to move forward. You cannot not succeed with whatever it is you want or whatever it is that's yours when you allow. Just allow. Hesitation is rooted in fear. Procrastination is rooted in fear. When you put something off till tomorrow, what are you doing? What are you saying? There's something about here, something about this I'm not comfortable with. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. When you hesitate, right? Somebody says, "Oh, can you do this for me?" And you hesitate. Well, gee, I don't know. I don't know if I can. You know, hesitation, fear. So, when you're in a state of fear, you can't possibly give quality attention. You can't possibly give good intentions. So the mathematical process or the mathematical equation for luck is when you take attention and intention and emotion and use them together, focused on one thing. Women can do it with 2 or 3 things because they can multitask better than men, because they become mama bears. So they do it better than us. In fact, women, in my opinion, think a lot better than us. Because it's not just the thinking capability I'm talking about. They're emotional beings. So there's a lot of empathy that goes into these thoughts. When you think about how people are feeling, when you think about things in those terms, the outcomes are better. And this is why when you see women and they're manifesting things, or let's say it another way, accomplishing goals, and all kinds of stuff it just starts coming, right? And all of a sudden she goes into a bad mood. Something bad happens. And then the switch goes off. And the tide goes out. Everything starts to go out. But if you really examine how you're feeling when things are going out and how you're feeling when things come in, you'll notice it. It's very noticeable. It's very easy to tell. Oh, I'm in a good mood. Things, you remember when everything was good and we were happy, we were partying every day. Remember everything was just coming, was effortless. Remember? And then now I'm so frustrated. Like money's so tight right now. Like I'm so frustrated right now. If you can keep someone in fear, okay, and there are mechanisms in place that do this to us. Okay. There's government entities, there's media, there's social media, there's all these things. Does anybody like good news? Nah, we get bored. We want to see the bad news. We want to see the accidents. We want to see the catastrophes. We want to see the bad weather. We want to see all that stuff. But if you're allowing, if you're allowing yourself to be fearful, if you're allowing yourself to be frightened, if you're allowing these things, what happens? You get pushed off your life path. This unfolding begins to slow down. This unfolding begins to go like this, instead of like this. It starts to slow down. And then what happens? Well, then you're reacting to the circumstances of the slow down. Then what happens? More slow down. Why? Because you're reacting to it. Like attracts like. Okay, now that there's more frustration, right? It begins to magnify. Guess what happens to your subconscious? It memorizes it, and now your body's doing it better than your conscious mind. Now you have put yourself into fear through repetition, so that now your subconscious learns to be fearful. Your subconscious learns emotions. On the other side of things, it learns to be happy. It learns to be gentle. It learns to be kind and generous and giving and loving. I can't even tell you how many guitars I gave away. And I still have guitars. They still come. Sometimes I buy them. Sometimes people give me. Sometimes whatever. But what I'm saying is don't be afraid to give. Just give. Give, 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 give. I just gave a guitar to the guy who taught me how to play. It was an honor for me to give him a guitar. I can't even tell you how many guitars I gave away in my life. I keep giving them away because I keep meeting talented people that don't have guitars. I'm like, here, take this one. If you live with a sense of abundance, and if you're not living in lack, if you're not living in I don't have enough, I have to get this, I gotta get this, because I don't have enough, then you're missing the whole point of life. You're missing the magical part of life. You're missing the God part of life. You're missing the divine part of life. You're missing the co-creator part of life. Because now you're focused on this much and the world is like this. And you're only focused here, what I can get for me, what I can get for me, what I can hold on to for me, what I can put in the bank for me. Don't live like that. You have more power than that. When you need money, bring it into your world. How do you do that? Variety of ways. Infinite possibilities. What matters is that you become open and not like this. What matters is that you give and you go like this and allow. When you hesitate, your mind starts to play tricks on you. When you live in fear, your mind starts to play tricks on you. Your subconscious starts to learn these actions and it repeats it. Pretty soon, over here, okay, you start worrying about something and then you go to bed and then you wake up and you worry about it again. Now it's over here in the next day, and then you go to bed and then you wake up the next day and you worry about it again over here. And now it's been 3 days, and 3 days turns into a week, and a week turns into a month. And one day, your eternal now comes to an end. Because you physically can't go anymore. Does your energy still exist? Yeah, your energy goes. Your body stays behind. We all become topsoil. But now, you've taken this blessing that God has given you, this blessing. Maybe you believe it's infinite intelligence, but this blessing called life. And you took these problems from the first day to second day, next day, next day, next day, next day. Die. And then what? Then you've lived the same life over and 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 over. The same problems over and over and over and over. The same frustration over and over and over and over. Why? Because your subconscious learns it. Your subconscious repeats it, and your body does it better than your conscious mind. How do you fix it? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. We'll get into more of the steps tomorrow. But the mathematical equation to luck is attention plus intention plus positive emotion. Then you get lucky. I'm being facetious. It's not luck. It's exact science. It's proven science. Some people see it as too much work. Some people see it as, I gotta do too much to get this. I have to do too much. I have to invest too much attention to get this or that or whatever. And then you get the rudderless boat like this, right? The rudderless boat. There's no direction to the boat. It just keeps going over here, bounce over here, goes with the tide, like that. When you put a rudder on that boat, now you have direction. Now you have a target. Now you go, okay, I want to go over there. That's where we're going. You know, I want that relationship. Okay, that's where we're going. I want that job. That's where we're going. I want that dress. That's where we're going. I want those pair of shoes. That's where we're going. I want that car. That's where we're going. And it's just focusing on that thing. Attention, intention, know your why, okay? And emotion, feeling good about it because you want to welcome. You want to welcome. When you have problems, you want to welcome your problems. Think of it as giving your problems a hug. Then they go away. And this is why they say love conquers all. Love conquers all because when you apply love to something, even something negative, you apply love to something negative. You have a problem, apply love to that. It will dissipate. It will dissipate. But if you engage in the problem, if you engage with the problem, now you've made it your problem. Now it becomes a problem. Now it needs to be solved, or you think it needs to be solved. It just needs to be let go of. Disengage, let go. If you're holding onto a rope and that rope is tied to a horse and the horse is running away with you and you're getting skinned up on the ground, it's time to let go of the rope. Remember what we talked about on Monday? I think it was Monday or Tuesday about this, hanging on, holding on, when you should let go. Because when you let go, you can allow. When you let go, you're not demanding your way, your own way. When you let go, you're going to experience a new way. Now I can sit here and I can say God's way. I can say infinite intelligence's way. I can say nature's way, or the natural way, or the natural order of things. But that's exactly what happens. Instead of this white-knuckled grip on life, I gotta pull it over here. I gotta pull it over here. I gotta do this. I gotta make it go over here. I gotta control this over here. Let go. Let go. There. Let go. Is everything gonna fall apart if you don't control it? No. My best friend was my business partner. We built companies together. When he died, I thought everything was gonna go through the floor. Did that happen? No. People were like, hey, can I help? I wanna help. Hey, what can I do? Can I help? I was overwhelmed with love. I was like, wow, these people actually like me. Like, well, people don't normally say it, right? They're just around. But boy, when something bad happens, that's when people come out. That's when God works. That's when people go, oh, what can I do? Can I help? I want to help. Just let me help. Here, whatever. Remember when the Lahaina fires happened in Hawaii? Okay, for you Hawaii people, when the Lahaina fires, local people were right there giving. It was the government telling people to stop. It was the government saying, no, you can't do that. Everybody was giving. All the local people were giving. It was automatic. Automatic. Take care of them first. Take care of those guys first. They need help now. Take care of them first. Did they have to force? Did they have to ask? They didn't even have to ask. But that's how God works. That's how higher self works. That's how Jesus Christ works. That's how infinite intelligence works. So it's 8 o'clock. It's the end of our live. We're going to disconnect with our international audience. Our international audience on YouTube, also on TikTok. We want to say aloha to you guys from Hawaii, also on Trovo in Europe, and